I pretended we were just in case we were.
We're live. All right. Whew. I don't know what happened there. There's some technical difficulties, obviously. No, we're live now.
Obviously.
I believe it's not episode 16.
Now I'm blocked
All
out.
right, relax. That was from last week.
How'd that happen?
This is actually episode 17, I believe, right?
Oh, switched over.
Yeah, I moved it.
And
We'll
we'll get the update soon.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it's episode 17, right? Not 16.
If last week's was 16.
Yeah. I don't think it changes since then. Yeah. This is off to a great start already.
Great start. I was telling my fake audience about my too beautiful to live Mad Libs in case they were listening to me.
Nice. All right, so yeah.
I could.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, well, luckily it wasn't live. So it was the microphone and the desktop audio were both muted. So anyway, here we are.
Hi, welcome.
Fiddler is not here. He's gambling away his rent money.
That he is.
In Vegas or someplace, Atlantic City or Vegas or something like that.
It's pretty exciting.
He's been there a lot, though.
Maybe he'll make the big bucks.
Yeah, maybe.
Pay for all those flights he's going to have to take when he distributes his peanuts.
That's true.
Peanuts for P-coins.
Yeah, good point. He's actually pretty good. I think he could make a living doing it, I believe he could.
Yeah, he should. He should try it out.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, if that's what you enjoy doing, like, I'm sure he's going to make less money than he does now, of course, but, it's going to be more sad. He's going to be earning it directly, taking from other rubes who are playing poker, basically conning them out of their money. I mean, that's basically what poker is, isn't it? Conning people out of their money. Make them think you're bluffing, make them think you're, it's...
Should we apologize to our audience that we weren't on poker yesterday?
I don't know if anyone would have noticed if we hadn't apologized.
Don't tell them that.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. We are sorry to anyone who tried to look for our table in poker.
I mean, did you check the email? People were furious.
I didn't check the email.
If you email us, then we'll give you your P-coin credit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you try to join a table and you didn't see a table there, we'll give you the P-coin. I mean, no questions asked. You don't have to prove it with a screenshot or anything. We don't care.
Because obviously, if you're emailing us and mad at us that we weren't there, then that proves that you're there.
Yeah, and that's good enough for us. That's enough proof. That's all we need. You saying it, you being aware of this, you listening at all right now. Basically, if you're listening right now, you could pretend and get some P-coin. You just say, hey, I want that P-coin you offered. You don't even have to remember anything else. We'll know it's about the poker game yesterday, and we'll give you the P-coin for it. So you got to say,
I have a confession.
Oh.
I didn't listen to the podcast from last week.
Yeah, I figured because you expressed some dismay with the blocker that I put over Fiddler's image in the opening of the show. You must not have watched your image entirely blacked out for the entirety of last week's episode.
I actually did. I did see I listened to the very beginning of it because that's when me and my coworker were starting to get a little slonkers off of vodka. So
okay.
I subjected him to the first about 5 minutes. Then we hit the town. He was like, okay. And so I think I remember complaining to him that you guys had blocked me off. And I was upset about it. So Fiddler's not dead, everyone. I know it seems like maybe he is.
Just like Molecule wasn't dead last week.
Poor guy. Just seeing his arms there makes me so sad.
The poor guy in this story is the person that you subjected to the first 5 minutes of last week's podcast. That's the real victim here. That is the real victim.
I'm so trained now to not say first names. I won't even say it. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just call him George. George,
George,
name?
yeah,
As long as
George.
it's not his name. All right. Yeah, so, from now on, we'll refer to him as George. Nothing else. I know who it is, I think.
I think
You'll
probably
tell me off the air. You'll tell me off the air.
I talk about him a lot. So
Yeah, I have narrowed down to 3 people, but I'm pretty sure it's 1. But there's also 2 possible contenders.
ooh, I'm intrigued. Who else could
Well,
it
as
be?
we all know, half of them are named Fred, which all of your ex-boyfriends are named Fred.
Right.
Every one of them.
Which is pretty unique. It's like Fred's not that common. I mean, it's not like John or anything, like a super common name. So yeah, Fred.
I think that might be a Peacorn infraction.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's a gray area. It's a gray area for sure. I'm just saying.
I'm not sure what he's talking about, everyone.
You've invented a way of skirting the Peacorn issue.
I had a imaginary friend for a long time named Fred, actually.
Okay. Something I gotta worry about.
Imaginary?
He
moved to Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to call him invisible. I'd get really upset if people said imaginary.
I think we need to go find him.
You think we should?
Yeah, and then we go to Hawaii. We hold a little contest. Anyone named Fred may enter, and we'll find your imaginary friend.
Well, for a while, I was convinced that he actually turned into a fly. And so any fly that I'd see, I was like very protective of. But people are like upset about flies. I was like, "The fuckers, that's Fred. Stop." You think you're kidding? This is my childhood.
I don't know if you're lying or telling the truth. I don't know.
Definitely not.
Well, look, did he move to Hawaii as a fly? That's not or did he fly over there?
He hasn't written, so I don't know.
Well, what gives you the idea that he might be in Hawaii, or he, or they, or whatever?
Well, he said he was. He said that he was going there. Obviously, he said I was getting too old and he was just done.
Was he a fly when he said it, or was he
he was invisible when he said it.
But he was a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Humanoid.
Yeah.
Humanoid
Mm-hmm.
shaped, not like a tiny fly. It wasn't buzzing around.
He said he was going to go start a family.
We need to find this guy. We need to find Fred.
I missed him, so I turned him into a fly. But I think that was just in my head.
Yeah, probably. That's the part that's unbelievable in the story. We should go to Hawaii, track this guy out. Say everyone named Fred. Come here at this time. You'll be eligible to enter a contest or something.
I think that's a great excuse to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, that really is a pretty good excuse. Just need to find someone else to pay for it. We need to figure out a way to make it a commercial thing or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love to see Fred again. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd like to meet this
Fred.
person. Who knows what they are now? If they turn into a fly, they could be anything. Squid.
Yeah, I guess if you're in Hawaii, squid wouldn't be the worst choice.
Imagine that.
Hawaiian squid, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
So what do you got on the agenda for us today?
Well, I guess this counts as maybe the state of the pod. What do you think? I mean, no, I don't know. Last week, I don't know if any of the Peacorns were distributed properly, or if at all.
Seeing as I haven't even listened to the last episode, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
I didn't keep track.
Yeah, I guess we'll just let them stay as they are again. I guess I don't know. But you do get -5.
I do get -5. That's true. Down to 685 then.
Yeah.
Didn't Fiddler? I think I did. Feel like I did hear this part. Didn't Fiddler say that I shouldn't lose 5 if I'm not there?
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't. We didn't take it away from you. I don't agree.
I should give him 5. I should give him 5 just for saying that.
Well, I would have to agree, wouldn't I? It has to be some kind of. Otherwise, it's just straight up corruption. Straight up and down corruption.
I said I should. I didn't say I was going to. It's a political statement.
I should dock him 5 for pandering then. So if you give him 5, I'm docking him 5 for pandering. So that's gonna be.
Now, we can put it to a vote.
Of course, he's gonna vote yes.
And I would vote yes too. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to be present to vote. So.
All right. Well, then it's gonna be a tie. I say no, you say yes.
Yeah, I agree. It did not pass. All in favor. Wait.
You can't even take a two-person vote. Millennials.
A fiddler getting Ooh, I feel like you should get doxxed on Pico, and you're alluding to my age. I don't like that.
I haven't seen anything in the rules that said you can't narrow someone down to the era that they were born in.
Of course, I guess you're alluding to your age too, so that's
Yeah,
a
well,
double-edged sword.
I could be younger. I could be.
Yeah, you're
X.
Gen Z.
Yeah, yeah, it's possible. And anyway, lots of people were millennials that are very old. They're way ahead of their time. So.
Yes, sage millennials were called.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm sure there are people who are millennials right now, just hanging on. The last wave, the last couple thousand. It never just stops altogether, right? The hippies hung around for fucking a decade. They don't just go away.
But they're not being born anymore, though.
I know, but I mean, I think there are people probably who do go and become hippies today that are born, that are like young. They decide to become hippies. It's or like beatniks or whatever. I guess maybe they're not calling themselves that, but they're doing the same things they did. You know what I mean? They're like dropping out, taking a lot of drugs.
True, but they're still stuck in the generation they're in. There's still smartphones. There's still the internet. There's still these
for
things.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, but that mentality.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Like that's what we're talking about. I guess it's not just technology.
Sure.
I don't see it as just technology. I also see it as a reflection of the last generation. Because I think the Stern War generation produces the hippies. It's like
the Stern War generation.
Yeah, like the 50s.
Never. I'm a millennial. I haven't heard of that before.
Like in the 50s, like right after the war, where everyone's like, we have to do this, we got to do that. And then you got the kids are gonna rebel against that shit. And then you get the 80s because their kids rebelled against the hippies, and you get the fucking 80s. Half those bankers on Wall Street, parents were hippies.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a cyclical thing.
Or the opposite, Parents are all stuck up, and you're like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's usually how it goes, at least to some extent. Not 100%, but there's also some genetics.
I've met some stuck-up hippies, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of overlap anyway, just in general, for these things. All right, so that's the state of the pod. We're at, I think so, let's see, since both F-Stop Fitzgerald and Fat Tail are not here, they gain another 15 points just because they didn't show up. You can't get away. You get points no matter what. So...
And so, since Bathtub, I think, exposed himself.
What?
I think he's out.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
I eat tacos in the bathtub. Yeah.
Should we assign those points? Since
I don't know. To everybody but the perpetrator?
Yeah, we don't want to encourage it, right?
Don't want to encourage it.
How about we give it to poor long-suffering fiddler? How about that?
That's very kind.
Yeah, he could use a little because even Fatto has more than he does.
I will second that. We can
nice.
Pass that amendment.
All right, so taking 30 away from him or her and giving 30 to Fiddler, who's up at now 0.52. Ah. All right, looks good so far, right? Looks good.
Wow,
looks like people are actually participating in this podcast on both our side and theirs. We have, meanwhile, few listeners, but that's all right. Our audience exists in the far future when the world has shifted. Which brings me to my new segment.
Ooh.
Do we have the right? Do we have the right? Okay. Now I put that phrase into Google AI.
The picture gives no hints.
I know. As Google, all they did was write some random letters on the ground. Half of it's like
the fuck. What the fuck?
It's the perfect AI picture. It's incomprehensible. It's like an AI somehow. It probably makes sense on some level that you and I just cannot even comprehend. You know what I mean? It's like some kind of fucked up thing.
It's like almost like they're like raised beds or like compost bins, but then there's like these big.
Yeah, the thing sticking out in the middle to taper up. What is that?
Towering. And one of them is like a house.
Yeah, it's like a little outhouse or something. tiny.
Or
Like
like
the
a
doors are
birdhouse.
right up against the wall. The door's right up against the wall. There's no way you would make it like that unless it's right up against the wall on the other side.
Rot tiger.
Well, I mean, there's more words there. It's cut. That's the worst part about it. Is it's just shitty cut off, like a bad Photoshop guy did it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Maybe
couldn't you at
it's
least
like,
include the last 4 letters? You know?
maybe it's a tiger burial ground. See, like that red on that pole? That's like tiger blood.
Tiger Blood. That's what's his name? Tiger Blood. Like actor that went crazy, took a lot of drugs and went crazy. Charlie Sheen, remember him? Tiger Blood. Yeah. I got Tiger Blood.
That's true. He did. Yeah, I do remember that.
All right. So do we have the right? I intentionally made this page to annoy you in several ways, just so you would hurry and make a replacement page for it because I thought, I know it's bad. So I included.
Oh my God! I just realized how bad it is. I had not even known. I was so intrigued by the picture. This is bad. We should stop the show.
I remember such a thing completely wrong.
I can't even look at it. I can't. I'm not gonna look.
Intentionally made it to offend anyone who has any kind of sensibilities for things.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Not only did you add an extra ellipsis, your ellipses, but this is not good.
That's the question is, do we have the right?
Do we have the right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I want to say each episode. And since you put it that way, and I like it so much, you're gonna put it in the fucking when you redesign this page. You're gonna make sure that
we do not have the right. Let's go on. New slide.
The answer, everybody, is no.
Can't believe we did this to me.
So, as we were talking about, we're talking about just now, right? We just got on a subject that really made me think about this new segment. But what was it? What were we just talking about?
Tiger blood.
Yeah, but before that, I pulled that up when we showed the picture. The picture wasn't there before.
You're like, you had like a purpose too. You were like, this brings me to our next segment.
Yeah.
Do we have the right? You did not disclose that information.
It's do we have the right?
To me or the audience.
This segment is called "Do We Have the Right?" Not "We Have the Right" or whatever it was you just said.
I think that's what I said. Do we have the right?
You forgot the ellipse. Try it again. Take 3.
Do we have the right?
Much better. I like it. I like it. That's gonna play at the opening of the segment every time.
You're gonna like cut that out a little bit.
Oh yeah. One time I did an episode, Claudia took everything Claudia said over the last like 10 episodes. I cut it all up and I just said it Claudia's.
You're so horrible. Are you telling me you really don't remember why you have this slide here?
I do remember. I'm trying to think of a good segue. It seemed like there was a segue there, but now I can't remember what the beginning of the segue was. Like, whatever we were talking about, I was like, this is a good segue into my next segment, but then I couldn't remember what the beginning of the segue was. I did smoke a little weed. I'll be honest with our audience.
Oh my goodness, that's a surprise. Well, we were talking about the P coins and the transfer from the bathtub to Fiddler. Yeah, eat tacos in the bathtub. It was a falsehood. Should never existed. Tricked us. And so we transferred those to Fiddler.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you were like, well, this is where I'm going to segment into. You brought up this atrocity. Fuck.
Well, I've noticed that in a lot of science fiction, there's I know you don't know anything about this. So I mean,
science fiction. You're right.
Yeah, you are a good representation of the audience. I feel like, you know what I mean.
No way, everybody likes sci-fi. Go on.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people like it, but I think there's a small percentage of people who like know everything about it. You know what I mean? And I think there's like, you might like robots or zombies or something, but like there's a small segment of the population that like knows everything about sci-fi, and you're definitely not one of those people. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's
Fair.
I would agree. Maybe it's like 20% of you don't know anything about it. Whatever. It's a small number, but it's not zero, and you're definitely one of them. And it's like they have these concepts, and some people even believe it today. That like aliens are the source of our species. Like they think like some aliens came down and like had sex with monkeys or whatever, and like fathered the human race.
Isn't that like a Scientology thing?
Yeah, I mean that is like a sort of sanitized version of it, I guess you'd say. Like there are people who believe like all they did was come down, fuck the monkeys, and left, and never had anything to do with the Earth again. Not that they were gods; they just came down, seeded the planet, and left. And there's people that believe this, and not only do people believe it, of course, that's people are idiots. Some people are gonna believe everything, but a lot of our science fiction has to do with it too. Like a prediction that humans would find some race of aliens out there long dead who have been seeding life on advanced life on different planets, like engaging in, one would think, animal sex, I guess, basically. Right? I mean, you're having sex with monkeys, and eventually that produces human beings. I mean, you're having sex with monkeys, right? I mean, I guess that's what they're doing. I mean, that's what I don't know, what else, how else would they do it?
I mean, they're aliens. They can do it any way they want.
Well, why would they?
I mean, maybe they get some sort of source energy power from it.
Like, don't you imagine that maybe like ancient humans, like ancient humans, like the Homo erectus or something like that, they could probably fuck pretty good, don't you think? They're probably fucking professionals,
I mean, if you're an alien, it's just like this is what I don't like about science fiction. It could like go the entire spectrum of what the fuck. Like them inseminating some fucking monkeys could like give them the power source to live like 5 billion years. Like who knows,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's my point. There's a lot of like there seems to be like a little cultural like undertone here of like that philosophy in science fiction. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is or whatever, but there's like an undertone of that like we'll find eventually that there's some ancient species that way predated us. Although we might not find proof, they're probably the ones that planted us on this planet too. You know what I mean? There's a lot of science fiction that they're long gone, and we find out the ruins and everything. So that got me thinking then that like, and maybe this is true of what all science fiction is. It's like maybe it's a instead of like a prediction of the future, instead of like a concept of what aliens are, maybe it's like our future. Like if we ever manage to get off this planet and colonize other planets, that's basically what we're probably going to do.
Probably, you're not wrong. Yeah.
So I had this book idea a few years ago. I wrote it actually. I think for one of the November novel writing months. I had this idea where like the humans spread out on planets, and eventually they came across these ancient ruins, just like predicted on science fiction. But what it was that the humans had invented time travel past that point, so they couldn't go back wherever the new humans had come from, and they were the remains basically of the human civilization that had time traveled into the past, mined every planet from there on for everything it was worth, and just died out.
This is why it's so hard for me to listen to what you're saying. I start to not listen in every single sentence. Something about time travel.
The point is,
people spreading out.
The point is, do we have the right? Do we have the right to go to planet and fucking seed these populations? Let's say we are. Let's say we're a good representation of what would happen if we seeded another planet. Is that does our existence validate the right for people to do that shit?
Are you a Democrat or Republican? I don't know. It's a good question, I guess. I would guess not, because then if you have any respect for whatever it is, but I know we probably wouldn't, because we can't
Yeah,
even respect our own countries or our own
exactly.
countries in the
Yeah,
world. So
we can't expect. We can't. Like the country next to us has no respect. You
right.
know, like
So
the world, the whole of the world's definitely not going to.
if we could do it, not saying everyone would, but a segment of the population definitely would. Just it would be destruction and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Enough of it that would be a detriment to anybody we came across.
so
Probably.
do we have the right? No, I'd say we don't. But
Is there
it's
some
a
way we
matter of
can we can we can? Is there a path to enlightenment where we could earn the right? What would have to happen so that you would agree? You would think like maybe we're ready. Is there a point where we could ever be ready?
what if some sort of alien species really enjoyed it?
What do you mean enjoyed what?
They-
Being subjugated by human beings?
yeah, maybe some aliens are into that. I don't know.
Well, we'd have to, if we could have a measure, if we, I don't know why we don't have this yet. I mean, it's been 10,000 years since technology was really, ramped up. Why don't we have a way to measure happiness? If we did that, then we could treat the species the way they want to be treated. If we could figure out a way to measure happiness, treat the person the way they want to be treated.
We're talking about like a whole nother like, how do we know what kind of scale they're in compared to our happiness?
It has to be something that has nothing to do with scales like that. It has to be some way of thinking that you and I are not capable of. You're asking me to gin up a whole new way of, on the fly in a podcast here. Come up with a new way to measure things. I'm just saying, there's going to be a breakthrough. I get it. We can't do it right now. I don't know how to do it. If I did, we'd both be billionaires.
I think we're going to mess up a lot. We would try to, if we were trying to do it the correct way, right? We would be anthropologists in this new world or whatever. Yeah. And we would try to understand their ways. We would try to like gauge their happiness, as you said, like try to understand them, and then go from there, and then stick our penises in them.
Can you? Only the happy ones that want it, right? Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
What I'm saying is there a way maybe that we could test something that doesn't involve cultural biases? That like the choices they make would indicate whether they're a certain degree of happiness or not. If we could figure it out with animals and other human beings like ourselves, maybe we could make it universal.
But can we though?
To be able to measure it in ourselves.
We can measure heartbeat. We can measure stress, but like, do we really know if like the alligator is happy?
I mean, it's got to be something in us, right? It must be some combination of chemicals. There must be some nice balance. There's got to be something that like makes us feel like content and happy. I don't know what it is. But our brainwaves got to be something.
There's like there's the the serotonin.
Yeah, maybe we can't measure it yet, but maybe we're 10 years away from it or something. Maybe AIs will be able to see it by our facial expressions. I don't know.
I think that isn't it like if you do like brain scans and stuff, you see where things are like lit up, and like I think that like maybe people who are like really depressed or whatever are gonna like places won't be lighting up or will be in other areas.
Yeah.
Isn't that about as close as we've come to?
I guess the scary thing is like, what if you're wrong? Like what if it's like, or what if your unhappiness is what makes you unique, or like it's all tied in together, like
Well, yeah, just like anti-suicide pills also can make you suicidal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, because like
we're all over the place.
They make you not care about the consequences of the thing.
Yeah.
It's making you like a soft sociopathy.
Did you think about all of this on your last walk? Where did this come from?
As I was evading writing the commercial. So
okay, just recently. No wonder there's all these typos in the slide. All right, that explains it.
Yeah. So the point is, like do we? I guess not. I guess we both agree no, right? We just don't have the right. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, this is dumb and this is silly, right? But let's say they're right. Let's say like the religious crazies are right. Not about God, but about us being like the first. Someone's got to be first. What if we're the first?
The first in what?
Like the first sentient species in the universe, and we could then go.
And other universes. You mean like the first in any type of scope of infinity you can imagine first?
At least in the scope of where we could ever hope to travel to. I don't know. Maybe that's. By the time we get there, it'll be a whole nother thing. I don't know. It's got to be some finite thing, whatever it is. Why not just universe? This galaxy. How about that?
So if there was like a, I don't know, 20% chance, or even just like 100% chance of other beings be in a certain area, let's pretend that in actuality it's like none. and we are the first.
I'm just saying that like someone's got to be the first, right? Someone's got to be the first.
If you understand time at all, who knows? Like, yeah, sure.
I mean, there's got to be a point
I
where
guess
there were
so.
none, and then there is one. Like whatever it is, you know. Maybe they don't have anything to do with each other. Maybe it's just random choice, and maybe they, you know, maybe it's only
I
1,000
mean,
years
you
apart.
make a good point. Sure. Okay. Sure. I got it. Uh-huh.
And so, like, what if that the theory that we have about, you know, seeding other planets, that's us, you know what I mean? So what if we don't get off this planet, then there will never be life like this on any other planets ever again. I mean, do we, you know, is that? So if you look at like the possibilities out there, like, do we have a right to say, all right, well, none of that? Yeah.
What's the point though? So, are you saying that if we're the only ones, it doesn't give us more of a right to do what?
Yeah, if like advanced life doesn't exist anywhere else, you know what I mean? Like, what if you do these studies and find out there's no advanced life like us anywhere in this galaxy? You know, we're the first ones.
And then what? What does that mean? Even if there wasn't,
does that give us a little bit more leeway to, like, you know, seed planets with life that's more advanced life, stuff like that?
I see. I see.
So
So to create life
in a
other
500,000
places.
years, yeah, maybe in a 500,000 years it'll be a different sentient species.
Like throw some squids over there, some panda bears over there.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly, you know, a little more sci-fi hand wavy stuff than that, but, you know, thousands of
Yeah,
years of innovation. You know, it's like we're getting. You can see where we could get there, right? We're not there yet, but you can see where maybe we could even like toss in a bunch of amino acids and some shit, and then like in, you know, like in a million years it's gonna be this other thing. Like if we figure out how it happened here, we can make it happen on some other planet. Not short term, like the ridiculous science fiction things, but we could go and see these planets. Some of them will work, some of them won't.
I mean, I think people would probably try if we could.
Do we have the right? I'm asking if we have the right. That's what the segment's called.
So like an empty rock, basically void of any life that we can comprehend.
Not only an empty rock, the whole universe has no advanced life forms out. Like nothing.
But any of the rocks out there, then any planets, whatever, they're all
we're the first. Assuming like we're the first ones. Yeah, I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying to give you a hypothetical thing. Like there's no advanced life anywhere else out there. It happened. It was a 1 in a quadrillion chance it happened here.
Right. So if there was this one of a planet that could sustain some kind of life that we could put there.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Like we change things in the primordial soup. We change things in the primordial soup that eventually will have advanced life like we have.
Would you say that if there was like an island out in the middle of nowhere that had absolutely no life forms on it, that it would be okay to visit it? Like just an island out in the middle of the ocean that no one's ever visited. There's not even anything alive on it. Is it okay to go ahead and like take our ship down there and like walk around?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You don't?
Well, I'm asking. Yeah. So I mean, if that's, and then maybe to leave like a family of turtles and then see if they like reproduce.
Well, I guess the problem is like up till now we haven't really been capable of determining if life was possible on that island. You know what I mean? If like we know for sure that on a planet there's never going to develop life because there's like no, you know, like the necessary building blocks is just not there. An island is a little different because, you know, maybe in 100 years it'd be teeming with life. You know what I mean? Like it's just a matter of the way the shore washes up or whatever. You know, it's like I'm not comfortable saying that, making that pronouncement just because.
Well, I would say because we have such a bad record of fucking everything up. I say we shouldn't, but I'm sure we will because that's our nature as a species.
So you think like if there's no life form, not even trees, though, like it's just like rock and gas and like, you know, like it is on Mars.
Then I say we just leave that shit be, but that's not what probably other people would think.
You don't think there's a little more leeway to like take a planet like that and like make some changes even for the worse?
I think you're asking the wrong person. You're asking the wrong person.
Well, I want your opinion. I'm asking because I want your opinion.
I say we should all kill ourselves and let the planet get back to like business. So.
Yeah, but there's already life on this planet. I agree with you there. The planet would be much better off without us and with all our shit taken away.
Well, then why like spread all that bullshit and suffering and pain to other places?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if you look at all the things that have existed on this planet in its entirety, and it's, you know, in the last whatever 100 millions of years, all the way down to those giant single cell creatures that existed, you know, and dinosaurs, right? There's a whole like, you know, species that lived and died. Could have developed, didn't, but could have easily developed that sort of, you know, sentience.
because think about it theoretically. Okay, we put some sort of life there. That life makes more life, and then so at some point we're gonna have like a humanoid type thing going on.
I think you're
That's
right.
gonna.
See, I don't know. Is that maybe not? Like maybe it doesn't always have to end in shitty capitalism. You know, maybe it doesn't always have to be that way. You know, it doesn't have to. We
Well,
don't
if
have to
we
destroy
put it
each other
there,
out of like. And when I say capitalism, I don't even mean like capitalism to me is the system that we've had for 10,000 years. You know, we put pretty names on it and say it's this and that, but like it's the system hasn't changed. It's abundance. You know, it's trying to get as much shit as you can. So we're going on since currency was invented, at least.
but if you're already inserting us into whatever situation this is, so why wouldn't I go ahead and draw that conclusion?
I know, you're right. I guess maybe some of us would even like hurry it along, which is maybe what that's what these conspiracy theories are about, right? You know, get us to the point where they're semi-intelligent animals, then we go have sex with them so that they become more intelligent.
And I wouldn't be surprised if like that's our one of the goals we accomplish in going to like Mars is leaving some sort of life, whether it's like just single-celled, bacteria, organisms, things, and seeing what happens. Because that's our nature. We're curious.
Well, did you see what they just did? They have a machine on Mars producing as much oxygen as a tree right now.
I did not know that. There we go. See,
machine on Mars
it's already happened.
Yeah, it's like it's burning or whatever. It's using fuel, but it's producing oxygen. Same way.
Well,
same as a tree.
So we already did it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like it's a machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But it's producing oxygen. Eventually, in theory, that would lead to life, right? Like or whatever,
Exactly. Yeah.
But or at least a sustained life we could put there in the short term.
There'll definitely be there will definitely be life on Mars in like these little isolated. Maybe if we make it past. At some point, I think people are just gonna be like, "Fuck Mars," and they're just gonna give up on it. There'll be other planets better off. We'll reach them by then. But like, I think there'll always be something on Mars, but it won't be like like a thriving.
It's the only thing we can. It's the only thing we can relate to, as far as like that type of thing.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, I guess it will eventually just head towards that shitty. Well, Mars is a bad example though, because this is it's so close to home and like.
Well, that's right. Yeah. This is like taking a philosophy class. I like it.
But then we also, we talk about this one of the other episodes, like the people. No, we talk about it in a poker game actually. Like the people who are born on Mars. Do we have a right to bring them into existence? Put these people in this shitty environment where they can't even walk outside without wearing a suit. Born into.
I mean, you can make that argument about having
kids now in this fucked up system. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Yeah. With our shitty air and our failing climate and all the other problems, suffering in general.
Maybe by the time they're adults, they won't be able to go outside either without some kind of protection.
And even just any sick anything. Life is suffering, so it's like, what's your moral hood there of like creating more of it just to replace yourself? It's like that's human nature.
Okay,
what we do.
Let me twist that back around then and say to you then, is it more or less right? Do we have more or less right to create someone on Mars than here? Is it the same? Is it like both just unforgivable egotism and just plain fucking I don't know, wanting people to suffer like you suffered, I guess, and watching them suffer like you suffer. I don't know what else could it be.
I mean, I guess there really isn't much of a difference. Really. I guess it does start to show that, like, oh, I feel like maybe there's some sort of like special hood just because it's Earth, because that's not really true. So yeah, it's a good point.
It might be more special, or at least easier in the beginning on Mars, because everyone will probably be pretty egalitarian. There won't be like fucking mansions for a few thousand years, probably.
Who are the people getting to Mars?
Yeah, that's the question, I guess.
Because it ain't gonna be NASA. They're gonna be beat out. It's gonna be those millionaires.
Think so? Yeah, you think it's gonna be Elon? Yeah, he'll build a mansion. He'll build a fucking mansion.
Exactly. You said that, and I'm like.
But even then, it's not gonna be like I think it'll be a little more. You're gonna be able to get what you need. No one's gonna starve to death on Mars, where they for a while. Where they will starve to death on the Earth. Like, they're gonna make sure that enough food gets there for everyone.
I guess so. Sure. I guess.
I mean, I don't think. Yeah, you might be killed for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what.
But just imagine if even just like a community of 100 starts to develop. There are going to be people who get more or less of whatever resources, and then
that's true.
Then it becomes 200 people. It's like where to.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck either way. You're right. I feel like maybe it's just it might be a little bit better off for them to grow up in some place where they kind of have a place for sure, everyone's needed. you're not gonna be left. You know, you're not gonna be forgotten about or whatever. At least not for a few years, not for a couple hundred years, probably.
Probably makes it just mostly boring. Like you're just like
Yeah.
you can't leave like your suit, right? Like unless they are able to create enough oxygen in the atmosphere,
Well, it's probably gonna
whatever
be these
at
massive, massive like cities, half underground.
bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you'd be like, it'll be like there'll be little like oases in the middle of the city on the ground or whatever with trees and stuff. Fake light.
Yeah, but who's giving those? Who's creating all that? It's all going to be under like one whatever it is, whether it's like NASA or Elon Musk. It's like
Yeah.
that's even more.
Well, he's already talked about
That's,
paying for you going there to pay for your trip over there. He's already talked about that.
yeah.
So you go to Mars and you pay for it, and that's basically slave labor. I mean, what else could it be? You're not allowed to go anywhere else. There's no other companies. It's basically slave labor. If you have to work and they don't want you to work, then there's no other companies that will hire you. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's bizarre if you think about it. Who would sign up for that? I wouldn't. I would go to Mars in a heartbeat, but I got to sign up to work for the only corporation.
You would go to Mars? You would like do that?
Yeah, I think I would. I don't think they'd want
I mean,
me
really,
to, but I
really,
would.
it's just like boring. You're basically just going to be like doing all the like, just I don't know,
No,
every
it's just-
single thing
I
you
guess
do.
It's just something you're learning about it, Pioneer.
I
type
guess I
thing.
don't have that urge.
There's no way to pioneer at all any other way in this world anymore.
But there's just like so much here that's amazing.
I know.
It's like why?
I know.
It's like
It's true.
I don't know. I feel like that's just a grass is always greener type of
Yeah.
thinking. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I think I'd do it. I would do it. I think. I don't know. Yeah, I know I'm never going to, so it's not a concern. But
Let's give ourselves some homework. We'll look up like what you have to do to like because
I'm
it's
not
out
doing
there.
it.
There's websites all about
I know,
like all the.
I'm not doing it anyway. Yeah, I guess I would do
I
it.
think
if
I
was
think
younger.
in the end, I think you would
If I was
even if you were
yeah.
younger, you think you would if you were like 20?
Maybe. Yeah, I might.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not my personality.
Be a whole different thing.
I think it's an interesting concept, but I just don't think it's going to be as romantic as you think it would be. Like, or that different, or that like.
Yeah, I don't know if it's romantic. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Maybe you're right. It would be a difficult decision, though. It would be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, huh? Not at all. Never would. But what's the difference here, there? I don't know. Suffering here, suffering there, suffering one way, suffering that way, suffering this way.
I think of it more like it's just taking up resources to do something that I don't know.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb
Okay.
to go at all. I agree with you. Right now, I agree.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. Maybe in some, universe or whatever.
Everybody thinks like this is the next stage, and once we get to Mars, then we'll go to But I don't think that's true. I
Right.
think we're gonna be stuck on Mars for 10,000 years, maybe more.
Oh, that's what it is. I was like, what's that smell? It's the dishwasher.
All
It always kind of smells like burning plastic.
right.
When
You're
it's
on
like
the
in
air,
its-
don't forget.
It's fine. Guess what, everybody? I have a dishwasher.
I just said that. I said it sounded like you forgot we were on the air. I just want to remind you.
I'm very, very aware of that.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so that was do we have the right?
You mispronounced that.
Sorry. Yeah, so
All right.
I don't know, that was a good segment. Hey, it's 7:40. We
Good
can end this
segment.
on time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
End this before
Good
8
point.
o'clock for a change. Anything you want to say? Anything else you want to talk about? You seen any good shows or anything lately?
I like Mo.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Tell me about it. How
Yeah.
was it?
I mean, I feel like I need to listen to to watch a couple of the episodes again because I was like, kind of doing stuff on the computer. But it's like he's like from, I guess he's from like Palestine, but he basically doesn't kind of have citizenship kind of anywhere because he went as like a 10-year-old to America,
Oh, okay.
and he's kind of like stuck in between, and he doesn't have like his papers. And he's like sells stuff out the back of his car, and he was like DJing for a bit, but he got like upset with one of the dudes because he was like smoking in front of like the like strippers. It was like a strip club, and
Okay.
I don't know, just kind of like that like and then like the family dynamics and him having to like, and then it got a little silly. Like he ended up going to Mexico and like got a little silly, but it was like I don't know.
Okay.
For a little bit, it did kind of remind me a little bit of like an Atlanta vibe
Okay.
of
I'll
like
check it out.
shit going wrong, but then like yeah.
You're not
I
caught
don't
up on
know.
Reservation Dogs. Our Reservation Dogs was great last week. That was one of the best
No,
episodes.
I basically haven't watched like any of it besides like the first three probably.
They got this new girl guest starred who was like in this new movie called Prey. It's a movie about a predator set in like the 1700s on Native American land. It's really interesting. In terms of like one of those movies, at least it's like, not your typical bullshit, Marines fighting them or whatever, It's like a Native American band and the thing, they run into that thing with a predator. Monster basically kills. And she was like the star of that, and she was really good. She's got just a really expressive face. She's really young too, like 19 or something. She's gonna have a really big career ahead of her, I think. She was on last week's episode playing like a hippie, like a Native American girl. It was really funny. It was like the stereotypes, but it was her, so it was like she, she's Native American, but.
Yeah, that's something I definitely want to watch that show. I don't know. What's it come on?
FX.
It's FX. Okay. Yeah.
It's a good show. It's the same guy. It's that guy who's done a lot of great stuff. He did What We Do in the Shadows. He did Our Fight Means That, the comedy show about pirates.
I wonder what maybe it's on, because I don't get cable, but I guess it's on one of the. I was watching it somehow, so.
Let me see. Maybe it's on Hulu. I think it's SX. Did we watch it? Maybe no, we didn't. Right?
I don't think we did. We just talked about it.
Maybe?
No, I don't think we did. I want to say it must be.
It's on Hulu.
On Hulu. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I thought it was.
I don't know if I still have access to Hulu or not, but.
Yeah. If not,
I can check.
Maybe once this season is over, I'll be into watching it again. I think there's only like 2 or 3 episodes left.
Yeah, we can watch it sometime when you're ready to watch it again.
Yeah, I like because
I want to watch it.
It's good because it's Native Americans, I like that idea.
That's for sure.
Finally hearing stories about people that are not your typical shit, that kind of reservation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting, that aspect of it.
I guess that's all I've watched recently. That I do want to check out more of the how-tos. John Wilson.
Definitely. Yeah. What did we watch? Oh,
Rick and Morty.
Elvis and Rick and Morty.
Oh, Elvis.
Course, yeah. Elvis. Yeah.
It was Elvis was good. And we still have like half of it left, right?
Tom Hanks was like the worst part of that movie.
So bad.
Sad. He did a terrible accent. He looked terrible. I didn't understand what.
In a fat suit, his face just looked weird. The accent was bad. Other than that, like it was, for what it's trying to do, it was all right. Or it is all right.
I like the parts that he wasn't. The voiceover was the worst too. Like as an actor, he was all right, but that voiceover was terrible. And it looked like someone just taken his face and like elongated it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like done in Photoshop or something. Like you said, one of those fucking TikTok filters. That's what it looked like. A TikTok filter.
I know. It's like somebody was like, all right, Elvis's producer or whatever he is a fatter guy, but god damn it, we're gonna put Tom Hanks into this fucking movie. It's like a main character.
Patton Oswalt the job. We'll give it to Tom
exactly.
Hanks, put him in a CGI
Tom Hanks can't be Elvis, so he's got to be this other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's happening.
He's too old for Elvis.
Yeah, it seems very forced.
Yeah, and that accent choice is just, even if that was exactly how the guy spoke, I don't want to hear it throughout the whole movie.
Or at least it's somebody, it's more genuine.
I have no idea what that guy sounded like. I didn't care that it was exactly right. I had no. I wasn't like, oh my god, he got it right. I don't care.
Right, and if it was a lesser known actor, then we probably would have given more leeway, even if it was the same accent, right? But we know Tom Hanks, and like it just didn't work.
It still would never won any awards, that's for sure. But yeah, you'd be like, all right, he's just second fiddle to like the Elvis guy, you know what I mean? Whatever. But yeah, Tom Hanks he's top billing.
I wonder how the critics are viewing that.
Yeah, I want to look into that for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go look into it.
Maybe we're just wrong. Case.
It's possible. Maybe Tom Hanks will be nominated for
exactly.
Actor. But yeah, it was just so terrible. But I liked it. I liked it overall.
Yeah.
Well, we still have some to watch. I think we only got like maybe 30 minutes left, something like that, 40 minutes.
Mhm.
It's like 2.5 hours long or some shit.
So no games this pod. I didn't come prepared with one. I'll say.
I mean, the last time we played with just two people, it was you would just roll some die basically to see who won. I mean, that's basically what it was. It made it more complicated, but basically.
Trivia could be kind of interesting, but
Like maybe what we could do is for a future game, we each come up with some trivia questions, and then we'll just ask each other trivia questions.
It's true.
That could be funny.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Luke and Andrew on TBTL, they have like they just were away for 2 weeks, and they just had they pre-record themselves playing different types of games, and listeners will like send games in, and a lot of it, some of it is just like trivia, but they do a pretty good job. I think it's pretty entertaining. So it can be done with two people. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll explore it. We'll brainstorm about how to do that maybe for a future episode, but not today. Probably.
Hopefully, the whole band will be back together next week. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. We should have. Yeah, maybe I'll unveil Abortion, the board game, part 2.
Ooh.
Maybe. See if I'm done by then. I mean, it's 2.0. I made a few modifications to it. It's not like
Abortion Part 2 on Mars.
That sounds like a great place for an abortion. Mars, the A in Mars should stand for abortion.
It really should.
Yeah. And the M, guess what the M stands for? Mars. Mars abortion. I don't know the rest. I lost steam there at the end.
Maybe this is where we should end.
Yeah, like an abortion. Let's end this thing.
Hey, see what you did there.
Thanks anyone for listening. I don't think anyone was. And in the future, you're going to be listening. You're really thinking, what the fuck?
Thanks for listening. You could have had so many P coins.
Yeah, all you got to do is you could have got some P coins. I'm sure it's going to be worth a ton of money in the future.
It technically says we have 6 listeners.
Really?
Viewers. Whatever that means.
Oh, okay, yeah. Huh. Well, no one's talking.
OX2, Alexis the Nexus, Alicidra, another TV viewer, which is a common person. Another TV viewer is always on there.
All right, since we came to the point where we're naming viewers, it's time to end this thing.
Andrew Root, Sophia Fox.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, all you bots or whatever's listening.